Problems only Gen Z has. Let's talk about it. So, just a little part of my life. I have been not looking for a job, but I've been in the midst of getting a job for like the past 2 months, and I had two good hits. I had a job offer at Caterpillar, went in for the interview, had it. I thought it went well. I have a good resume for it, and I had to wait 3 weeks for a confirmation on whether or not I was getting the job. I didn't get it. So, I had a second job, state highway. Pays well, had a good resume for it, went in for the interview, bam. It's been 4 weeks. I got accepted for the job, but it's been 4 weeks, and I have yet to start. And as of right now, it might be 5-6 weeks before I start, which it's a little rough. I'll say that. To say the least, it's a little rough. Okay. So, problems that us Gen Z has is when it comes to motivation. I understand that discipline is important, right? But when it comes to discipline, you do it when you don't want to do it. There is no motivation or want to be disciplined, because when you're disciplined, your body doesn't want to do it, but you want to do it because you have an incentive to do it. You have things that are going to happen if you do it, right? There is no motivation or will to be disciplined because the pay that I'm going to have is quite little. What I'll be able to use with the pay is nothing. Like, for example, I'm going to be making $20 to $21 an hour working at the state highway, right? Supposedly decent benefits. Whatever. I'm only working 37.5 hours a week, right? There is absolutely no opportunity for overtime. None. I'm technically not even getting a 40-hour work week working for the state highway, the state of Indiana, the government. I'm not even getting a 40-hour work week. I can't do anything with, I don't care if I'm making 20, 21 an hour. I'm not even capable of putting in enough hours to make enough money. Bam. Okay? I don't even have to pay life insurance yet. Right? But I'm hearing like it's $1,200 a month. I'd only be making $3,000 before taxes, $2,400 after taxes, and then I'm giving half of my check to life insurance. And then on top of that, if you want, I don't know what numbers people are, like these news outlets are going off of, the media, but if you look up any what the numbers are for rent and the living expense in Indiana, for rent it's on average like $480. That is a lie. That is a bold-faced lie, because I live in, well, I don't live in Lafayette, but the reason I don't live in Lafayette is because it's so expensive. That's where my job's going to be, so I have to get a place there. In Lafayette, the cheapest place you can find that I've found, just by going online, looking at my options, is like $780 to $800 a month. I think it's like 1 bed, 1 bath, right? There's a 2-year waiting list. 2-year waiting list, okay? Second best option, I go live somewhere income restricted, and they only take a certain amount of income, right? So If you move up, your rent moves up. Okay? Do you know the type of people that are your neighbors in those type of places? Like you just know how these people are. Okay? I don't have to throw any specifics. The blanks are already being filled in. Okay? I do not want to live near these people. I'm more than willing to work more to be able to have more money to live in a better area. But starting out, I have to live next to these people. And there's only so much room for growth in so many places, because they would rather let you go and hire somebody else instead of have you move up. Okay? And I'm a hardworking person. Okay? This is not like I'm showing you who I am. Okay? When I get a job, it's always been the case that I go in there on time, I do my job, I do it better than what I'm supposed to. And if I have a work ethic like that, and these are my options, what world are we living in? Where's the benefit to be putting in that hard work if it doesn't pay off? Because think about it like this. I work hard, right? I get the raises. Well, here, let me just give you a first-hand example from experience, okay? I worked at Pizza Hut, $11 an hour, okay? There's a guy who's been working there for 10 years. He only makes $12 an hour, okay? Same position, whatever. But a dollar raise in 10 years? Are you serious? Anyways, I pushed so hard to get a manager spot there. And then after about 3 4 months, it was going to happen. It was going to happen. I was filling out the paperwork, sending them copies of my car insurance, all that stuff, so I can make it happen, right? They're offering $13 an hour for dang near 24/7 availability. No, not doing it. There is no room for growth, and the growth that you're given, there's no out. I can't live off of $13 an hour. I'm sorry, I just can't. You want me? I put in a 56-hour work week at Pizza Hut, making $11 an hour, and I walked away with sub $500 after tax. Are you serious? Are you serious? That's after accounting for overtime and taxes being taken out. So you're telling me if I worked 56 hours a week for 4 weeks out of the month, I'm only making $2,000. And during that week, my body was hurt. I'm gonna be honest. Like, I've got a little bit of scoliosis, so whenever my body hurts, I'm like, okay, it's just kind of part of it. I don't really use it as an excuse. But it wasn't just back inflammation. It's joint pain. It's mental exhaustion. And I understand, you do it time and time again. You eventually get used to it. But I was putting in like 24. It wasn't just the work. It was the 24/7 prep to go back to work just to make $500. And then if my options are the cheapest $700 to $800, that is way over budget. $700 to $800 to live somewhere, and I'm only making $500 a week. Isn't the budgeting rule, like 25 to 30% should be rent, the living expense. I'm not even making that working dang near 60 hours a week. Okay? And then, okay, now I got somewhere where I can work more, or I can make more per hour, right? I'll be making $2,400, and I can't even afford to move in. Technically, based on those numbers, I would be just at, like, just think about this, okay? I would be just within budget to live next to crackheads. Someone working at the state highway makes just enough. Someone who's supposed to be a symbol of what it means to provide value within the state, someone who's supposed to have respect on their name, makes just enough to live next to crackheads, dope dealers, legit murderers. One of the places that is available near me for $700-800 a month, income restricted, whatever, they just like sent a guy away for life because he had left a gun out for his like 5-year-old, or I think it was like a 1 or 2 year old kid accidentally shot their 5-year-old brother, and then the 5-year-old brother had marijuana and I think it was fentanyl or cocaine in his system. Like, these are the people I'd be living next to. These are the people. If you go to where this place is, this little apartment complex, whatever, there is cops that are stationed there throughout the day that have scheduled shift changes because of how much activity happens there. Okay. So that's where I would be living if I stay in budget. Okay. So I've been doing a second job, especially since it's been almost 2 months I'm out of a job. I have to do something to make money to pay my bills. My car, $600 a month. Okay? And I'm gonna be honest, I missed a payment or two. And I'm currently trying to make it up. But my interest rate is like 28%. And it's the type of, I forget the technical term for it, but the type of interest rate that I have is if you miss, it just keeps going up. There's no cap out. It just keeps, like, the interest goes on the interest, if that makes sense. It doesn't, like, you have like a 4% flat rate interest where it only tacks on to the value of the vehicle. No, my interest goes on top of the interest on the vehicle. So there's that. I've been doing DoorDash. Okay, so I have to use the vehicle. Okay. I can make enough, but I've got to put in 16-hour days to make it work. And the wear and tear on the vehicle, obviously, is not good. Okay. Like, this is just one of the problems. Think about how everything is forcing you to be online. I don't want to be on my phone. I would rather have a flip phone to communicate. But we don't have the option. If I go in, when I went into a McDonald's and I applied for a job, they told me go online. When I went to Wendy's to apply for a job, they said go online. If I went, it doesn't matter where you go to apply, there is no paper applications. They do not value that. And I had one paper application. It was in a different state, across the state line in Illinois. I worked there for about a month. They were paying people, I think I was making $15 an hour, lifting like 80-pound sheet metal every 20 seconds for 10 hours a day. Now I understand why Mexicans just go home and they down a bunch of Modelo's and eat a crap ton of of food to forget themselves. Because there's just no way any person with a brain is accepting that rate of pay for that level of exhaustion. Okay, so I've applied to college. College rates are going up. Even the community college. Like, I think before, just when I got out of high school, like not even 4 years ago, 3 years ago, the rate for 1 year was $2,000. It's doubled. Expect to pay $4 to $5,000 per semester. Wow. Wow. It's doubled? Okay. I saw a stat recently. The purchasing power of Gen Z compared to Boomers or Gen X is like, they had like 77% more purchasing power. Yeah, no wonder they thought working hard worked, because it did. It did. You could put in 50 hours a week easily for a summer. And you could walk away with a new car and at least a down payment on a house for one summer. I'm gonna have to lock in for minimum like 3 years just to have enough to even think about a house. If I'm lucky. If I'm lucky. If things don't raise in price again, or if there's some sort of financial crisis that happens, like engine blows, or you know what I mean? And hold on, I have a little construction in front of me. It's just it's like they're giving us no out. They're giving us literally no out. And then on top of this, there's ghost jobs. There's jobs that they're offering to hire people. They're doing the interviews, and they're not actually hiring anyone, and they're not serious about the job postings. They're just doing it for federal cutbacks. They're doing it to make more money into, my guess is, harvest data. So there's one. We've got finances, the economy, the housing market, the job market. Okay. There's stuff that I actually enjoy. I want to be doing some sort of computer work. That highly intrigues me. But in order to get to it, I have to spend a lot of money. And when you start weighing options, I'm gonna be lucky. I'm gonna have to get real lucky. I'm gonna have to get real lucky. Bam. Food costs. Let's talk about it. In order to live healthy, you need to live within a certain diet, which does not adhere to the food pyramid. There is a sort of pyramid that works, but you do not need as many carbs as they were telling you to eat. That stuff puts you in a trance. That stuff makes you not be here. You're unconscious. You are moving around with no head, no brain. You are zombified. Okay? Oh, and let's talk about that real quick. So, think about, this is a little off topic, but on topic. It's just like a kind of a stretch, let's say. Think about the way zombies are presented in film and media. Think about what a zombie is. It's a being with no brain that is rotten to the flesh and needs to consume other people's brains in order to continue to survive. When someone is a leader, when someone thinks ahead, when someone doesn't submit to fleshly vices, they are like the people that are being consumed by the zombies. Those zombies, the reason zombies are they have such a pull and they seem scary is because they're real. And they're not real in the sense that they're green, decaying, limping around beings that are banging on your door saying, brains. It's the people that they never move up. And anyone trying to move up using their head, they do everything they can to devour that person, so then that person becomes like them. And that's how they justify their own existence. And it's crazy to think. It's crazy to think how all of the media that we're being, like, you can't go 2 seconds without an ad on your phone. Like, really. And then the subscription costs add up to remove ads on your phone. So you have to pay to have a brain. You have to pay to have a brain. You have to pay to be free. What sense does that make? It makes sense they have to put in work, because work equals freedom. But then again, the work doesn't support you enough. It's to the point where you gotta start doing something that's bending the rules. That's as wide open as I'll say it, as broad as I'll make it. It's a Gen Z problem, but I think every generation has the same problem. And I would say maybe it is a little tougher for us because of what I said earlier, the generational divide with other older generations refusing to accept that the economy doesn't work. Like every instance that you look at, everything that's happening, it's not just happenstance. We are heading towards some sort of economical collapse, financial crisis, and what are we supposed to do? Our money literally do something to the landscape of the planet, the way that our country is set up upon the water, that would cause some sort of global destruction, some sort of like natural disasters like volcanoes going off, tsunamis, stuff like that, hurricanes. So really, we're in a really weird spot. Really weird spot. And the lack of community really is like the nail in the coffin. Because as human beings, we're supposed to be interactive. We're supposed to be with each other, communicating in a meaningful way so we can meaningfully go on, right? And that's not to say you need other people, but that's to say that that's the human condition. So there's a crap ton of immigrants. You're telling me there's only 10 million documented illegal immigrants in the past, 4 years? Under Biden? Was that the number? Okay, one generation, say they reproduce, now that's 30 million. If they're reproducing at a rate of 2 per 1 person, that's 30 million. Okay. I say what? You can get four generations out within one generation. So by the time the oldest generation is 100 years old, they have a 4th generation coming, so they're like a great-grandson. Say they're at the same rate. The 30 million is reproducing at a 2 per 1. Okay, now that's 60. And then you do it one more time. 120 million in 100 years, illegal immigrants. There's 330 million people in the United States. There's already a documented amount of, I think the total number they're going off of is like 20 to 30 million already illegal immigrants, like total, that have found their way in over time since I think either the beginning of the United States or like the 80s or something. But like that's the concurrent number. That's the present number. Okay, so within 100 years, say that 30 million. Let's erase the 10 million that I was talking about. But I mean, that's a significant number because that just goes to show that they do not care who's coming in. Okay. Say those 30 million reproduce at the rate of 2 for 1 for 4 generations within 100 years. There is now going to be, if I'm doing the math right, 240 million illegals in 100 years. That means, it only takes 5-10% of people. Isn't it something like that? Only like 5 or 10% of people, or maybe something even crazier, like 1% of people, or like 2%. I don't know. I think it's like a single digit. I don't think even his double digits. Percent of people to overthrow a government. So you're telling me we're going to have like a near 50-50 split of illegals to actual citizens? And I'm considering the people, even though they're having their people on our soil, the illegals, the beginning illegal is counted as illegal. You just got to do it. You have to do it. You can't just assimilate like that. That's not how that works. You come in with a good first impression. You don't just weasel your way in and then try to fix things after. No, that's not how that works. Okay. So we're going to have that many illegals in 100 years. This is not going to be the same country. It's already not the same country. It's already not the same country. They're locking everything up at dollar stores. At the dollar store, bro. At the dollar store. I went and bought an $90 electric shaver at Walmart. I had to be escorted to the register they took it out of a glass shelving. Some guy came over, he unlocked it, he opened it up, he gave it to me. He's like, hey man, I gotta escort you. Just to make sure I paid. Are you serious? Are you serious? This is not freedom. It's not. I understand why they're doing it, because there's a lot of people who are stealing. There's a lot of people who, they don't understand what a society is. They don't understand the communion part of it. They're hyper selfish. And unfortunately, in order to understand the enemy, you have to have a part of the enemy imprint on you so you can better understand them. So now I am having to make a decision, a personal decision, to not trust people, even though some people could be trustworthy. So you see how the only solution is to get rid of them? That's the only way to fix the problem? Because no amount of heart or rationale can fix it any other way. You have to get rid of them. Just saying. So bam, no community. Gen Z problem. What else? See, I'd say those are the major ones. I mean, really. I mean, I could throw taxes in there, but we've been stuck paying taxes forever. I mean, at this point, the only way we're going to get rid of those is if nobody ever pays taxes. Then what is the government going to do? Arrest everyone? Are they? Are they going to arrest everyone? And the only way it would work is if it happens within the next 100 years. Before the next 100 years. Excuse me. Because once all the illegals are here, then of course they're going to arrest all of them. You kidding me? Why wouldn't they arrest all of them? But the people here now, the people that are trying to be civil and making the everyday decision to follow the rules, they're not going to arrest all of us. They wouldn't. Just think about it. Think about the lack of community. Think about the lack of financial freedom, no matter how hard you work. Unless you're selling your attention, which is a form of selling your soul. I mean, you can choose where your soul goes. But man, does it seem like there's no out when it comes to paying attention to certain things. Like I used to smoke nicotine. Something as simple as that, right? You cannot go out somewhere without having to interact with somebody who's smoking. Like I was playing basketball. I'm passing the park I used to play basketball at. There was this lady just sitting there. First of all, how'd you get a porch chair inside the basketball hoop? Like on the basketball court, inside the fence. And then secondly, I mean, okay, you can have your chair. She's smoking. She's got a cigarette out, smoking in front of children. You really couldn't, like, I'm sorry, lady, I know you weigh over 100 pounds that you're supposed to, but you're seriously in here smoking cigarettes around kids, around people who are huffing and puffing to exist? Like we're getting out energy and your beluga whale buns are sitting on this porch chair while I'm huffing and puffing, trying to be a competitive person and maintain a level of civil gamesmanship. And you're over here ruining it. Are you serious? Are you serious? Are you that dense? I thought we got rid of public smoking. I thought that was an effort they had. I thought we got rid of that. This is a public park. I mean, surely there's a no smoking sign somewhere. Oh, and you have to have a fishing license to fish? Really? Like, I can't just pull up to a lake with a pole and throw my thing out there and just sit there and chill. I can't do that. I have to worry about some enforcement officer coming by asking for a license and then fining me. And I mean, I'm sure if you're someone who's habitually coming back, they can arrest you for it. Are you serious? I understand it's for preservation purposes, but if you really want to preserve them, why can't we just get every species? And I'm sure they already do this, so there's really no point in explaining it again. But gather every species, put them in a secured area with limited human contact, that it has researchers, whatever, and let us do our thing out here. You're removing all the humanness of being human. Like, I can't just go out there and fish. Like, if I really wanted to, I have to pay to be self-sufficient, which it makes sense, right? But then it doesn't make sense because the work in and of itself is a payment. Why am I paying to then put in work? Like, I understand both sides to it. I do, but I really just don't agree with it. I don't. I should be able to just throw my pole out there and let something bite. I should be able to put my gummy in the water. Oh, and so, I mean, this is something small. It's not really that important, but playing video games, dude. Playing video games, I have to go against the people that are on prescription depression. Oh, geez, I'm about to throw up in my mouth. Prescription medication, depression medication, stimulants that make them have absolutely no soul, but have absolutely insane reaction time. Like, you're on prescribed meth, and I'm playing against you after working 8 hours. I went and just shoveled a ton of rock and had a 15-minute break, and I get home and I'm legitimately playing against crackheads, people on crack. Are we serious? Are we dead ass right now? I think like 18 eggs at the store legitimately cost like $10. Not that long ago, you could get a dozen for like $1.50. Legitimately not that long ago, within my lifetime, just short enough ago to remember, I remember going to the store and seeing eggs for like $1.39 for a dozen. And I remember myself, just within like the past 5 years, buying 60 eggs for like $6. The big white box with the green line on it has 60 eggs, 60 grade A white eggs. $6. We were living in just a short amount of time. We cannot afford to eat eggs. And I have family members with chickens. The chicken feed that they sell you at major retailers is infected. They're making it so you cannot, this is anecdotal, I don't think there's been research on it, but my lived experience is what I'm going to go off of. And you cannot lay eggs with the feed they give you. You cannot. You will get like 1 egg a week. You got 12 chickens, 1 egg a week. Maybe 3. You might get lucky. You might get like a 25% lay rate. No, it'd be even less than that, because 7 days, 25%. It's like you got like a 3% lay rate. Like, you had so many opportunities for them to lay eggs, and they're not putting any poop out. They're not popping nothing out. So people have opted into buying from local people, local places that have no recognition, no reputable source, in order to feed their chickens, to obtain feed, to have their chickens lay eggs. Isn't that crazy? Isn't that absolutely ridiculous? You cannot trust major retailers anymore, because the people who invest in the major retailers, they are not, the only reason they're investing in the major retailers is because most people go to them. And that means they have more eyeballs and more lives to change. Okay? So now they're, whatever they want to do, they're just going to throw more money at it, and it's going to do something. Things get banned. I mean, I think the food dye thing is good. That's like a W. One W for the next 50 years. 1 W for the next 50 years. But the people we elect, they actually don't care. And I don't think they have any power to do anything anyways. So this is the dilemma. We want something that is communal. Something that allows people to interact with each other. But we're in a position where the people that are here, not everyone can accept that. Not even a vast majority can accept that. And I'll just spell it out, because hopefully YouTube doesn't catch on to it. I mean, I'm probably going to be shadow banned anyways for a lot of stuff I said. But the RACE. There's a war happening in between the borders. It's already happening. I mean, I'm already done with it, dude. Like, I cannot trust myself. I worked in a correctional facility, a maximum security correctional facility, for about 5 months. You learn real quick how to profile. And I'd say I got like a 90% accuracy rating for when I profile. Somebody cuts me off in traffic, probably black, probably Indian. Didn't follow a traffic law, probably Indian, or black, or a woman. Or all three. It could have just been Kamala Harris. She could have just cut me off in the middle of 4 lanes of traffic. No turn signal, just kind of showed up. And then they'll wave at you, or just speed off. It's like, you know what you just did, right? Like, you just dang near clipped my car that I'm already paying $40,000 on. Like, are we serious? Here's a problem this Gen Z has. This is the American problem. You know the saying, the American motto, land of the free, home of the brave? It's more like land of the asleep, home of the enslaved. Land of people who aren't acknowledging what's going on and shackle themselves unnecessarily. Like, legitimately, like, you can't even organize. Like, you legitimately cannot make any meaningful effort to organize, to do anything about anything, without having some sort of federal informants invading and disrupting and dividing the function. And you can't have, like if you want to do anything, like, it has to happen instantaneously. Like, I think that's the only reason why I don't think they were fearful of Trump. I think they were fearful of the people behind Trump. Even though Trump is one big lie. Like, he's not actually who he says he is. They weren't fearful of Trump. They were fearful of the people behind him. Because having that many people instantaneously be at the doorstep within the walls of major political people of power, being able to be face to face with those, having gunfire go off, all that, they were afraid. And have you noticed that they're really hammering down now on making that an improbability of happening again? Like, do you not notice? Do you really think after that happened, they've just taken no precautions of making that unlikely? A CEO died. I don't condone that. But you can tell they're scared now. When that CEO died, every CEO looked at who was going to be president and got behind him. Started funneling a crap ton of money. Because they know that if you can't beat them, join them. And it's not about beating Trump. It's about beating the people behind Trump. It's about getting ahead of the curve. Using your money to put out the fire. They're using their money to put out the fire. And it's like people aren't doing their due diligence to understand that this is the problem. And it's like also, even infighting, when it comes to communicating with people on presumably the same side as you, you cannot have a meaningful direction to go without there being some sort of disagreement that completely disrupts everything. Just tears it all down. Scaffolding to the ground. It just makes it so difficult because it'll be the smallest thing. That's why, like, there's a guy I watch. He talks about foreign affairs and the state of politics in that domain. And it's true. I mean, the religious divide is rather unnecessary because we do have a common goal. And really, if either of us want to reach that goal, we have to unite in some sort of meaningful way. We can shake hands with each other and then deal with the other problems later. But no, because I'm only 70% white, I'm not white enough. So speaking with anybody who has similar ideals, it then becomes a problem that I'm not white enough, so I'm not allowed to engage in the conversation. Are we serious right now? Are we serious? How do you expect to get out of this? Like, I'm getting ready to have a kid. I'm getting ready to have a son. And he's going to be more white than I am. He's going to be like 80, 90%. Because my wife is as pale as it gets. Any paler should be a piece of paper. Should be a cigarette filter. And I don't even think he would be considered white enough to the supposed people who want to make change. Are we serious? What are you doing? What is the actual thing that you've done? Have you done anything? Or are you just kind of waiting it out, trying to play the long game, and the long game is just stalling the entire time? but you claim you're doing something. You can make money, sure. But I think if you're not making the instantaneous ripple effect, then you're not doing anything. You're actually not doing anything. Sure, you can be used later on, but you didn't do anything because your effort would go unnoticed without the people who sacrificed and were the spearheads. It's just that simple. So, did you really do anything? Did you? These are only problems Gen Z has. The institutions don't care about you. They don't. Because the people running them have been brainwashed enough to choose the money over the people. And the information they give you is stuff you can just figure out on your own, but they make it rather freaking difficult to figure anything out. And if we want to talk about track records, because I know it's going to be brought up, what have you done? You're right. What have I done? I graduated high school and then I just kind of took a break, and I'm trying to get back in now. But if we want to talk about transcripts, I could show anybody who wants to know about it, I can send it to you. Every test I took in high school, bam, aced it. The funny thing is, I didn't notice it until I was out of school, but I really never paid attention. But I gave enough attention to know what was going on. And it was like bare minimum. The years that I actually did my homework, I'd have 130, 140% in classes. I would ace everything. All the tests, all the homework, and all the extra credit. It got to a point where teachers weren't even giving me the extra credit because I wasn't allowed to have that high of a score. But certain environmental factors didn't give me the motivation to utilize myself. I grew up with a single mom. I think I have a rather unique perspective when it comes to standing up for something. I grew up with a single mom. The rate of someone like me to be a murderer, to do all of these horrendous, sinful actions beyond sinful. If there was something beyond sinful, that would be that. To do these uncivil acts, the rate of the supposed likelihood of me doing that is astronomical compared to someone who simply had both parents in the home. And I haven't done that stuff. I pray to God every day that I don't do it. I pray to God it never comes down to it. Because I believe I understand the severity of the situation. What I'm really going up against. If people call me an asshole, they call me a dickhead, I think those are self-reflections. Those are projections. But like I said before, if you're not creating the ripple, then you're not doing anything. You're really not. You're riding the wave. If your point doesn't cause the ripple, if your drop in the water doesn't cause an effect, then you didn't do anything. You didn't. I'm sorry, you didn't. You just rode the wave. You didn't make it. So my point here is, I'd say I hate even saying it, because I mean there's the idea that by stating so you probably are not. But I will say, with a level of confidence and a skeptical confidence, that I have the intelligence to do something in the world. Yet, there are legitimate concerns when it comes to doing anything within the rules. specifically going to jail. In and out of jail. Stepdad in and out of jail. I didn't want to be like that. I saw them doing drugs 24/7. I didn't want to be like that. So I've taken the steps and the measures to shun that part of my consciousness, to eradicate the ideas. Hey, somebody getting arrested right now. Oh, dang. Guy's got long hair. Looks like he might have had a choker on, metalhead. With a chick, emo chick. They probably got drugs in the car. They're probably done for. I'm someone who likes to follow the rules because I believe, I mean, it's not a belief, it's a fact. Rules were created for a reason, and that reason, up until now, has been for the benefit of the people within the system. But I don't think they serve us anymore. I have a real distrust in what I thought to be true. Maybe it can be true. If we can guard our little area, if we can have our own little section of the world. Slice of heaven, they'll call it. But, can we even have that? Can we even have that? I don't want to go. Because it's... Okay, let's get ready to turn right anyways. Okay. That's all I'll say. These are specific Gen Z problems. Yeah, we got to do something. Because when push comes to shove, they're not with you. They think of us as subhuman. They don't see us as people. And I'll say this one last thing. When it comes to dealing with a situation like this, you have to beat them at their own game. You have to want it more than they do. And the only way we keep the fruits of success is with forgiveness and mercy. That's it. Thank you guys for watching.